Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. Did you get this month's paper pumpkin kit and be like, what is up with the nose on the snowman? Like, why is it not orange like a carrot? Well, if this bothers you like it bothers me, then I have a solution for you, which is so easy. We're just going to scan in this nose and we're going to cut it out in pumpkin pie cardstock by Stampin' Up. It is the cutest kit in the world, right? I think, but what were the designers thinking? Making the carrot nose green. I mean, I've seen purple carrots. I don't think I've ever seen green carrots. And even my husband, who happens to be colorblind, was like, why is the snowman's nose green? All right, so here's what we're going to do. So let me give you the overview. I've already made enough because I get a lot of kits coming. Like I have this kit, and they come at different times. It's kind of random. Although I order them at the same time, they come at different times. We are going to scan it in. We're not going to use an outline distance or anything. We're going to scan it in and we're going to cut out more noses. And then we're going to do this little, I did this little thing just to give it a little bit of, you know, with the marker, with the pumpkin pie marker, just to give it a little bit of, what will we call it? Texture, right? Dimension. Now what I'm going to show you will work if you are wanting to make the snowman, you know, make more coal. Maybe you want to cut out the coal. You want to make the coal 3D. Maybe you want to make a 3D scarf. Maybe you want to put like some red velvet for your earmuffs. That would be cool, right? Use my technique to cut out earmuffs, but they don't bother me. The scarf doesn't bother me. The coal is black. The earmuffs are cute. So I don't need to do the rest. So when I show you my tutorials, it's things that I'm actually doing for myself. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut the nose. Now to cut the nose, though, we need to scan the nose. Now let me put this down on the mat. I like to just put things on the right side of my mat. And I'm just going to tape it there because we don't want it to move. Okay, I just use painter's tape. Oops, why am I moving my whole entire tripod? Let's move that. So the concept is going to be, if I was trying to scan, actually here, I won't cover the scarf because then you'll get to see that I can scan in the scarf, even though I don't want to scan it. I'm just going to just do that, just so you can see that. So it'll scan in all these things, but I'm not worried about anything else. So here's the concept. And let me tilt the camera, and I'm going to say hi to you guys as you come in too. In a couple minutes, I'll say hi. So say hi if you're here, and I will get to check you guys out. Ask questions if you want. So there are two kinds of scanning when you first turn on your machine. I'm just fixing my droopy camera. And you could scan. So like say we were going to cut out the noses. Okay, I'm just giving you an overview right now. If we wanted to cut the nose off of the snowman, we would use direct cut. And we would directly cut out the snowman's nose. But we don't want to use direct cut. We're going to be using what's called ScanNCut data because we're going to take the snowman's nose. We're going to put it into our machine, and then we're going to cut out the data of the nose. Okay, so whatever you do in this tutorial, you do not want to cut out the snowman's nose. You do not want to use direct cut, because if you use direct cut, then you're going to end up with a big empty hole where the nose was. Okay, we're not cutting out these elements. Not that you can't. If you wanted to cut out the elements, I show you this all the time on my channel, how to cut out stamped images, and we use direct cut. We don't use ScanNCut data that often unless we need to. I'm always showing you things that I'm actually doing myself, you know, whatever projects I'm working on. So you turn on your machine and you see pattern and scan. We're going to select scan. If we were going to directly cut out the nose, the carrot nose, we would use direct cut, but we're not going to directly cut out the carrot nose. We want to save the shape of the nose and use it again later. So therefore, we're going to use ScanNCut data. Hence the title of this video, ScanNCut data. That's the whole premise of this video. And now we're going to decide, do we want to scan in the whole area? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and scan the whole mat. You don't have this option if you have a CM machine. You can only scan in the whole mat. But in this machine, in the STX 125, the one I'm showing you right now, you actually have the option of scanning in just the top of the mat, and it does save time, but that's okay. We're going to scan in the whole mat because my snowman's bigger than 6 inches. And even though I only need the nose, I just want to show you what it will do as it scans in the whole snowman. So just kind of giving you some other things you might want to think about as you're planning your own projects, because I get asked questions, and sometimes, you could just apply what I'm showing you right now to answer your question, even though it's on something else. Okay, I'm happy to use Paper Pumpkin. Paper Pumpkin, by the way, is a subscription-based, really fun thing for US and Canada. And so you can order the subscription from me and get this great kit in the mail. You want to get the exact kit I'm going to show you, the Gifts Galore kit, but I will show you it anyway. I'll show you some parts of it right now, and I'll be showing you more projects created with this kit. All right, so it's scanned in the Snowman. So now in your ScanNCut data, you have a few options. You have the first option, which is scanning the outside of the lines. It's something I'm going to go ahead and select, but the second option is going to be the inside. It's going to be, because we have like really no borders here, there's no borders, it's like, it got in there and it scanned all the lines. You see what I'm saying? Like this one is like the outer lines. The first option is scanning the outer lines. Like it got the outer part of this, it got each of the coal, it got the carrot, okay? But the second option and third option, let me explain. First of all, I'm just making a selection around the Snowman. The second option is getting the inside and outside lines. So say this had a border around it. Say there was like a dark line around this whole thing and it can't get in there and find the coal and it can't get in there and find the Snowman's nose. You would have had to select the second option. So if your first option doesn't work, then you want to select the second option. Each time you select another option, it becomes more of a hot mess. Okay, I think the first option is the easiest, but if it doesn't work, I have to move on to number 2, which is getting the inside. That would be the inside. This is an inside and outside. That's the outside. But of course, in this case, there's no contrast. And the third option is getting all the lines on the mat, like everything, selecting everything. We don't want that. Okay, so we're going to say, we're not going to, I'm just going to preview just to show you something, but we're going to go back and ignore object size. Okay, so now we're just previewing, and it got the scarf, it got the hat, it got all this great stuff that we want to select, but I'm only worried about the nose right now. So I want to ignore all these bits that it picked up. So first of all, I made a selection just to hone in on just the Snowman, but I also want to get rid of all this. These are lines and scratches on my mat that it picked up, but you want to ignore object size, and you want to ignore it as big as you can, but without ignoring the very nose that you're trying to cut out. Notice the coal has disappeared, the mouth has disappeared, a lot of these scratches. If I go about above an inch, I'm going to actually make my actual carrot nose disappear, and you don't want to do that because that's the thing that we want to cut out here. So we want to go, about an inch, but don't go over an inch because you'll lose your carrot. So that gets rid of some of the parts we don't want. So we're going to say okay. And now we can do more. We can make a selection even smaller. I was just trying to show you that here we can go in here and get a smaller selection. But I first wanted to show you how cool it was, in case you want to make your earmuffs out of red velvet or something. Like I said, I'm not worried about all that stuff for me personally. I think I have everything I need. I got just the nose selected. And now I'm going to just say preview, and I'm going to say okay. Now with ScanNCut data, oops, it's saying there's no pattern. I must have ignored the object. Let's go down to 0.94. It means that there's nothing there. So now I went down to 0.94. Do you notice that? When I went up to 0.98, it ignored my carrot. All right, so now it's asking, where do you want to put the information that you just got done scanning? So it's asking, do you want to save it to your machine, to Canvas Workspace, or to a thumb drive or USB stick? So I'm just going to save it to my machine, and it's going to put the file on the machine. So unlike when I usually do direct cut and we cut out the images, let me just go home for a second. We're going to click on home, and we're going to delete all patterns. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it for a moment. I'm just going to tell you the big picture. Normally when I do cutting out stamped images, cutting out pattern paper, which we'll do soon because I have new papers, new catalog, new celebration papers, lots of new stuff coming out. So I've been playing with papers from here. I've been playing with papers from here. So normally when I cut out paper, this is a catalog I can't open yet for you, but normally when I cut out papers, I just directly cut them out by using scan, and then I directly cut. But because we use ScanNCut data, you notice there wasn't even an option to cut. There was no option to cut at all. All it was the only option we were given is to save it. So in order to cut it, you have to first retrieve it. So because we didn't directly cut it out, it's now in our machine. We have to go get it back. So we deleted all patterns. We went back to the home screen, and whenever you want to get this carrot nose now, we're going to retrieve the data, and we're going to retrieve it from where we just saved it. So we saved it to our machine, so that's where we're going to retrieve it from. We could also retrieve it from the USB stick or the Canvas workspace or this cable going straight to our computer, but we're going to use the first option because that's where we saved it. I'm going to jump all the way to the end, and there's my carrot nose. Okay, there's my carrot nose right there. Okay, now let me go back. There was my carrot nose from earlier, and I had a little speck too. See, the little speck from earlier? So if that happens to you, I just want to show you this because my new carrot nose doesn't have it. You don't want to hit trash here because it trashes your whole file. You want to, if that happens to you, and you get a little extra speck of after all the work you did, you first want to say, okay, don't hit trash at that moment. You want to say, okay, and you want to go in there, and you can edit out the piece that you don't want. Okay? And then you just resave it. Resave it to the same spot. Okay, so that's what you do if you get extra specks. But I didn't get extra specks, so we'll just use the one that I actually did with you so that you see start to finish. So that was how to edit out parts you don't want if you get extra little parts that got selected all over. All right, so let's go home, back to here, and we're going to retrieve data. And you'll see that I fixed that one that was up. I'm going to the last page. See, I fixed that one. There's no more stray bits on that one. Okay, but we're going to actually use this one. You know it's the one I just did because it's the last one. Okay, so now there it is. And don't worry about the numbers. They get out of order sometimes because there's so many things saved. Now, wouldn't it be really nice if let's look at our paper pumpkin kit for a second. See how many. So we have a paper pumpkin kit, and we look, and it came with like these nice gifts, and it came with a bunch of these to make our boxes. So let's see, there's one on my mat right now, and then I put 2 on my boxes, and I don't know why there's not an even number. Okay, I put 1 there and 1 there, 1, 2, 3. Oh, there is an even number. Okay, because there's 2 on my box. Okay, there's 2 on my box right now, and then there's 1, 2, 3, and there's 4 more. So let's just say I need 4 of these, although I'm only going to cut them for your sake. I've actually cut enough that I need, but let's just say we need 4. All right, you know what? You guys are going to need 6 because there's 6 snowmen in this kit. So let's say you need 6. So what you're going to do is, it would be nice to just not cut out 1 at a time, right? We're going to go edit, and we're going to go object edit, and we're going to go plus, and you just want to just get your 6 there. Get your 6 total. Okay? So there's, you have your 6 carrots. Now, more tips and tricks. But also, let me go say hi, and then I'm going to tell you lots of tips and tricks here for making these carrots go to a nice part of the screen and all this other stuff. So the next tip I'm going to show you is what's called cutting area. So you need to go get a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock for the next part. As I'm saying hi, get your piece of pumpkin pie cardstock and just follow along with me. Okay, hello Janet, hello Carmen, Gloria. Good, first time catching me live. Hello Yvonne. Just purchased a ScanNCut, which is arriving today, Gloria. That is amazing. Okay, I have lots of courses, including Winter Projects course, so check out my courses. There'll be links to coupons and courses below. So if you're new to ScanNCut and you got an XDS 125, there's a course. That's the one I recommend you start with because it starts with all the settings. I get through all the settings on this machine. Well, I don't want to say all. Never say all. 99% of the settings on the machine. Okay. Hello, Paula. Hello, Carmen. Because there's probably something I missed. Someone will say you missed a setting. Hello, Jan. Hello, Katie. And Sandy. All right. What we're going to do is this. What we're going to do is click OK. We have 6 of these to cut out. We're going to go to, we're just going to click OK for a moment. And we're going to change the cutting area of our machine. So I have to show you where I'm going to put this first, and then we'll talk about cutting area. So let me first put this on the mat. It doesn't matter that my snowman's sitting over there. He's just not in the way. I mean, he's okay sitting over there, right? What I need to do is use my painter's tape. Oh, you know, even though it's pretty fairly new mat, I used it for a course recently, and I lost all my stickiness. So what I want to do is just put a piece So I'm putting a piece of pumpkin pie over here, and I'm just taping it down. I need to cut out the noses over here because there's something over here. I mean, pretend there's something over here you don't want to move. And for some reason you want to cut in this area. Because what I want to show you next is the cutting area trick. So I want to cut my little noses out somewhere over here. Let's just say in the first 3 inches of this mat. Okay, so let's go over here. And before we do anything, before we try to do all this business where you're like, well, can't you just move them? And can't you move them all? Yeah, but imagine if you had like 100 carrot noses. Do you want to move them all one at a time with your stylus? No, you don't want to move them all with your stylus. You want to use the cutting area trick. So you want to go into the little wrench, and you want to get the cut area, and you want to take it and put it where your cardstock is. So remember I said about 3 inches? Each of these represent an inch. So over here, I put the cardstock over here somewhere. Let's just say I put it over there where the pumpkin pie is sitting in the cardstock. This is now the only area that we'll cut, that we'll be able to cut. So here, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to, here, 3 inches by, I'm just trying to show you that you see how it's changing. 3 inches wide by 2 inches high. Here. Okay. I mean, it's just, you just move it wherever you want. So that's good enough. All right, so that's how you change the cutting area. It was in the little wrench. Let's put this up a little bit. It was in the wrench. Yeah, I can move this down some. Okay, maybe like that. In the wrench, cutting area. So now, these are not going to cut because they're not in the cutting areas. But when I use the auto layout, this is the auto layout. It's a pretty amazing feature. It'll only lay out these carrots in the cutting area. So it's so cool. Auto layout's pretty cool. This one, you're going to use the first option for auto layout. Auto layout will take all your objects on the screen. I could have had a lot more carrots. I could have had 12. But you can see that all 6 carrots are sitting right there. And it'll lay them out. And it'll move them any which way it needs to, this first option, to get them to go into the cutting area. The second option will turn some of them right side up. It'll turn, okay, so the first option is carrots go any which way. That's the first option for your auto layout. The second option is some carrots might go up and some might go down. And the third option is they're all going to be oriented in the way, well, in this case, they'll all be oriented the same way that you had them starting out. So that's what this 3 auto layout options are. So let's go ahead and cut our 6 carrots. Put one on the snowman. Okay, we're going to click OK, and cut. Yes, the option of auto layout is definitely on the CM350. Good question, Janet. So auto layout, everything I've showed you is on the CM350. I'm going to show you the one thing that's not, in case you're wondering about it. Every single thing I'm showing you right now is 100% on, definitely on the CM350 because I've been using these features for many years. There is one thing you can do on the SDX that you can't do on the CM350, but we haven't got there yet. I'll get there because you're probably wondering it. It's something that I would be wondering if I were me. But let's all just do this in order. All right, so what I have done is I've cut out some carrots. And despite me putting the little, despite me putting painter's tape on there, it slipped a little. We're going to click OK. So we're going to click OK, and we got our carrots. Now we're going to just go back before we show you the final project. Oops, I don't want to delete all patterns. I'm going to save this now. I'm going to go ahead and save my 6 carrots. I'm going to go ahead and save them. So I want to show you something. That now next time, so say you had a page of something you're trying to cut out, and you saved it. Let me just go home now. Okay, our cutting area is still set. So you have to remember all the time that before you do anything else on your machine, always go back and reset your cutting area to 12 by 12 or 12 by 24. In fact, I got asked recently, someone had a 12 by 24 mat and they were asking me why their machine wasn't recognizing it. And one of the reasons is you have to tell it here that you have to tell your cutting area that you have a bigger cutting area, right? So that's one reason that it might not be recognized. And there's a couple other reasons it couldn't be recognized, but let's not get into all that. Anyway, I reset my cutting area. So now we got our little carrots, and here's one thing you might be wondering. So let's retrieve the data, and let's look at number 1 that we have. Look, I want you to see that this one I did earlier has still the 1 carrot. See, that's still the 1 carrot from earlier. That was the one I did my sample, carrot, cancel. And then the second one was, or the last one, was my 6 carats because remember I overwrote. I said save, overwrite, and there's my 6 carats. Pretty cool, right? And I can keep on editing this. If you want to get rid of the file, you trash it, but we could keep on editing it. We could get a carat, and we could go object edit, and we could add more carats. But here's what you might be wondering. Okay, this is pretty cool, right? Paper Chef, I can do all kinds of stuff with this concept. But can I do what I can do with stamped images and create outline distances? Yes, but only on the SDX machine. So let me show you. We'll use this one. We're gonna retrieve this file again. Okay, we say we want to. Let's go and edit. First of all, we're gonna glue this onto the. Let me glue this on while I'm talking. Then we'll get back to the outline distance, because you're not even gonna know what I'm talking about with outline distance unless we show you like why you might possibly need that. So actually here, before I get glue, I'm just using some clear glue I had because it dries clear. So I like to take this here. I'm just tilting down a little, and I'm just kind of, making a couple little. I was using the thin part of the marker, but you can use the thin part or the thick part. Just drawing little lines like a real carrot has, right? So you could do something like that on your carrot with pumpkin pie. Tone on tone. If you only have a blends marker, use the blends marker, use the small side. Okay, so you're just putting it, right? Put it on there. Do, 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 do. Okay, do another one. They're all the same. Just put them in. Okay, so again, they don't bother me now that I have a green. I don't have a green carrot nose. I'm just using some tacky glue for this because it dries really clear and I didn't want it to show. All right, I even got a Q-tip that I was using to clean out my blade holder earlier. I'm not going to use it anymore for my blade holder, but earlier I was sharpening my blade. I was doing a little bit of sharpening with my foil, and I was using a little bit of Q-tip to get the glitter out of my blade because I've been cutting some glitter. So anyway, this is what you got now. You have the nose, and you have to do it to both sides because when you make this box, just like how it dries clear, when you make the box, the box needs 2 carats. I mean, it needs 2 snowmen because the box is 3D. All right, so you might be wondering, well, this doesn't quite cut. It's the exact size of the green, and I covered up the green. But now you might be wondering, well, what if I want the nose to be slightly bigger? Because then I can really cover up the green. But to me, when I tried that, it came out, it wasn't in proportion when I made the outline distance. But I still want to show you that you could just increase the size slightly or make an outline distance and make your nose. I kind of like it, though, because it has a little drop shadow effect. But if you want to make your nose slightly bigger, I want to show you how. All right, so this is everything up until now you can do on the CM350, and you do it the exact same way I showed you. You do scan to cut data. You do retrieve data. You do cutting area. You do auto layout. You can select objects. All that stuff. But what you can't do is what I'm about to show you. It's called making an offset line. You can't make an offset line this way. Not in the scan to cut data mode, but you can in the SDX. So when you go into edit, this is the one thing you're not going to see, object edit, in the CM models is this little option here. See this little, it's an offset line. So you click on the offset line and you can make it, I think it's 0.04 is your smallest one. You can even go negative offset. So positive offset of 0.04 will make a little bit of an outline around your carrot. So if you say 0.04, okay, now watch what happens though. You got to remember to move that away. So let me go ahead and click OK and zoom in for you so you can see. So when you create an offset, and if this is not clear, I will do it again for you. When you create an offset, you must move them away from each other because all you did was make a bigger one, see, slightly bigger than the original. Here, I'll do one that's real big. How about that? I know what to do here. Let me take another. This is an original carrot nose. Object edit. Let's make a big offset so you really see the difference. Here. Here. We'll do one that's 16. 0.16 of an inch, okay? Click OK. If you don't move these off of each other, Let me click OK and zoom in. You're going to have a look, just sort of an outline. See, look, that's what you're going to get. But when you move them away from each other, you're going to cut the offset and the object separately. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now, if you had a CM and you really did want to make an offset, you'd actually have to scan the carrot in, use direct cut and make your offset that way. Or what I always say is just use Canvas Workspace. Because in Canvas Workspace, the offset is a built-in feature. And I just did show that in my last course. I show that all the time. So if you want your carrot nose to be bigger, don't just try to make it bigger doing this business. Don't go in here to edit and try to make it bigger because you're not scaling it correctly. This is how you scale, but it's not going to scale in the right way. You want to use offsets. Offset scales from the center outwards as opposed to trying to use this kind of business. You can make it slightly bigger if you want to use the size. You can make it slightly bigger, but it's not going to do as good of a job as an offset. Even if you had the proportion button, I mean, even if you were changing these in proportion to each other, it's still not the same as giving it a bigger offset. That's the true way to resize something like this kind of carrot nose. So Sandra's saying she loves watching from Stockport near Manchester in the UK. Woohoo! International audience. Hi, Mary. Okay, so this is how cool these paper pumpkin kits are. So in this month's kit, you're making, this is, every month we get a new crafty surprise, and I haven't got that far yet. See, all I got, this is all I've done is one project. I'm going to show you my project. I took these out. I said, what the heck? I showed my husband. He's like, no, 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 no. He's like, you can't have a green nose. And that's as far as I got. So I haven't even done my project yet, but you'll see me in a couple days making things, right? So, yeah, so Katie's saying she's made that mistake with the offset. So I'm glad she, yeah, it's, you know, you've made the mistake meaning that you've resized it as opposed to not using an offset. Is that what you mean? Anyway, so you fold these little boxes, and this is something, by the way, trapezoid boxes are something you can make with Template Maker. I wouldn't try to copy this box. I would just make a new one using Template Maker. I showed this in my courses. There's a website. You make any box you want. However, we have all the little box templates inside this kit. So all you had to do is do this, and you had to, and then you do this. But get this. They even thought of everything and gave us the lines. Look at the lines where you put your tear and tape. Isn't that cool? So then the little snowman stands up like you put that in there and you make two snowmen and you have this huge thing. And you could, I'm thinking though, I've already done two snowmen, but then afterwards I'm thinking, you know, I could really stretch this kit out by only using one snowman, right? And making him lean a little better like that, a lean machine, right? Hi, Lauren. That's my niece's name. Okay, so you could make one snowman and have him sort of lean on there and not use two of the objects for every one of the kits. All right, so let's show you now. And it came with all the little bags. It came with the bags to put your treats in. It came with the twine, the different colors of twine. So I doubled up on the twine. And it came with stamp set. And it came with a Stampin' Spot. And like I said, I'll do another video soon with the projects. Flirty Flamingo. The case looks different than this one, huh? But I didn't open my Stampin' Spot because I usually give them out. And I use my own Flirty Flamingo to stamp with. And now let me move this out of the way so I can show you my treat box and what's inside my treat box. And my final project, because I always show you at the end of the videos what you make with what you did with your ScanNCut. So here's my first paper pumpkin project. I took the box, I made the one side, which is the same. Dun, dun, dun. And there it is. I stamped Oh What Fun. And I used Flirty Flamingo. I double stamped it in Pool Party. And then I took my blending brush, a blending brush because I didn't think it contrasted. And I took the blending brush and I put some extra Pool Party on there. And I'm thinking it needs some Wink Estella on the earmuffs, a little bit of glitter. Okay. And it came with these cute little paper clips. I'm thinking the coal needs glitter. And then there's giant bags. I mean, these fit so much. But one tip I want to give you is this fits so much candy in it, but you need to put the bag in first and then stuff the bag because it's very hard to get the genie back in the bottle, as they say. Don't try to put the candy in the bag and then try to stuff it in there. Put the bag in there, keep it empty, stuff it in there so it takes the right shape. And then you got the cute little bag. So you can make 9 of these with this month's paper pumpkin kit. Next month's paper pumpkin kit is Oh What Pun. It's something like that, or Oh What Pun. It's about puns and stuff. This is our last Christmas kit of the season. We've had a few Christmas kits recently. So you can put a lot of stuff in these bags. I put these new Ghirardelli minis that I'm using a lot for my diaper folds. I put some Three Musketeers, Butterfingers. I'm not going to open it all up, but Mike and Ike's. And now I got some Christmas candy canes, and Twix mints. And then I put the twine. I doubled up my twine. I tied a bow, and I put that in there. So I'm thinking I'm going to save. I think I might put one snowman. And what I'm thinking, I could do the ScanNCut. This just gave me an idea. I could do something like this with the cute papers, right? Maybe the pattern party paper or something cute, and just make a big white snowman, or not white, but a big pattern snowman for the back, if I need a snowman for the back. If I want it to stand like that. See, it can, here, let me move my camera a bit. So if I want this little snowman to stand up, I need two snowmen. But the box is going to stand up on its own. So I'm thinking I might just need one snowman, and then I can make cards out of the rest of the snowmen. I have to look at, how big these are. They fit on a card easily. I don't want to have to make a special kind of card. Let's see. I've been working on some other cards. I'm going to grab something really quick just to see. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to make some giant cards. 5x7 cards. So I don't know if I'm down with that. So I might see how big these are and just see what other things I can make. I'm going to have to make some big cards or turn these into some other kind of 3D treat holders. Come up with some alternate projects. But anyway, that's all I got for you for today. I hope you enjoyed that little tip about using ScanNCut data. So in this tutorial, you learned how to use ScanNCut data. You learned how to save your data, retrieve it, and then make multiples of it. You learned how to make multiples of your data so that you got lots of carrot noses. Then you learned how to create an offset line if you needed to make this carrot bigger. Okay, you learned how to change your cutting areas so that you could cut out the carrots just in one part of the card or just in one part of the mat. Right? And so you learned lots of things in this tutorial, I hope you give these a try and make the most out of this month's paper pumpkin kit. And yep, I will probably be making some slimline cards, but these are more than slimline. These are going to be like, I don't know. I'm going to have to, here, you know what? We can even use the ScanNCut maybe to even cut some of the presents apart, or scissors probably, since they're at straight angles. These little presents would make lots of extra fun embellishments. Yep. Well, that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. I hope you got your paper pumpkin kits and have been playing with them. See you later. Thanks for watching, and check out my new ScanNCut courses. Coupon in the description of this video. That's all for now.